January 18th, 2026. There's the time in the morning, and there's my fuel situation, and I'm below half. That means I don't have heat for overnight.
Did you know I was personally dragged into the whistleblowing about the sexual abuse, trafficking of vulnerable women at the nonprofit organization with a false accusation by the female central to my story? I had support from some famous people like
One man told me about being beaten by the police and left permanently disabled because of a woman's false allegation.
You're not supposed to have that sound in your phone. My heart.
And then I'll just quickly listen to your breaths. Yeah. You're perfect. That's good.
Well, I was breathing deep for you, right? That's still not good.
I'll be right back.
Hello, it's January 2026. Now this video is going to be a real-time quick update about my health and my living situation, because there are some people who do care and ask, and this video is not about seeking sympathy or pity or any of that nonsense, nor is this a video asking for help, because I've pretty much given up on society, humanity overall, I guess. So real quick, my health issues, well, it just seems to be piling up at this point in my life, this chapter of my life, dealing with all these different things at the same time now. And every time it seems like I go to the hospital or see the doctor, there's something new they find. So last month in December, they were talking about two major surgeries. One surgery is for my heart, and the other one, the newest one, I guess you would call it, my spine. I guess there's some serious issues with that. Nothing has been confirmed. I've been going through a lot of test images and all this other stuff with regards to all that. So there's no new news with regards to surgeries. I'm not looking forward to having more surgeries if that be the case. In fact, before now, the last time I was told I needed surgery for something, I said no more surgeries. Just prior to that, I had a surgery that really kind of freaked me out, but it had to have been done because there was a high risk of something happening. I don't get into too many details. And so if I have to have more surgeries, I'm not looking forward to that. But if and when that does happen, I will, if I can, I'm sure I'd be able to let everyone know what's going on with all that. Plus, I'm also dealing with the complications, we'll call it, from when I had the surgery in 2022, where I was literally dead. All my organs were shut down. I'm not exaggerating how the doctors were buzzing around like flies at that time when I was in the emergency. And then 6 months later, I was in the hospital, pretty much dead again. So within 2 months, I almost died. So there's complications from that, which I'm still dealing with. And those complications appear to have started cancers forming. So, and that whole medical condition started, doctors in 2020 said I would have had it for a few years prior to that. It just built up. and living out in the bush and just literally surviving basic needs and worrying about keeping warm and fed. I just put the pain aside, kept through it. And so there's all these things that I'm dealing with there. And then there's other things, more historic in nature. And having to have a disabled parking pass, every time I see it, it just... I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It makes me feel old. And speaking of old, my birthday had just passed. And for anyone watching who wished me happy birthday, thank you again. Now, as for my living conditions haven't really changed. It hasn't changed at all. There's no really. It hasn't changed at all. I'm still living out of my vehicle. And, I find it amazing how there are some geniuses out there who say, well, sell your vehicle and get a place. Well, selling my vehicle is the stupidest thing, because getting a place, that would be just a temporary thing, because that money would eventually run out. Well, my vehicle I have as long as the vehicle and I are together, if that makes any sense. The vehicle and I are one. So anyway, I'm trying to keep warm, trying to keep fed. Some of the tests that I have, I can't afford for my medical stuff. Some of the medications I can't afford. They're not covered and whatever. It's just, it is what it is. And I've been just eating food for the trash. Me basically eating garbage when I can, if it's edible. Just basic needs. And right now, especially right now with it being so cold, just trying to keep warm and surviving this winter. And as you can see, my fuel, I have what's called an auxiliary heater. When it hits the half point, it doesn't, the heater can't run. And we're probably in the upper -20s Celsius right now. So it is what it is. I don't complain. Again, I'm not looking for sympathy, nor am I asking for help, because I've given up asking for help. I've tried over the past decade, GoFundMe and Give, Send, Go, and aside from the few people that I know who donated through that to try to see if they can get it kick-started, nothing. And this is why I say people will donate to millionaires and billionaires, or people who don't deserve it, who've been scamming them through PSYOPs and everything else. And this is not about me. This is about a reflection of society. And again, it's not about me. And I'll give you an example. A few days ago, there was somebody who, I was coming into a parking lot, and I noticed to my left, I thought it was dirty snow, but it was actually a homeless person. It was snowing really hard, sitting in the snowbank to keep warm, and they were just covered with snow. And I felt so bad for them, and somebody had given me literally just a few dollars, enough to get a tea and something small to eat. And I ended up giving that away to this individual so they can go inside and keep warm. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I'm trying to highlight, it's not about me. I'm not about just me. And it hurts me to see other people worse off than me. You know, I'm struggling, they're struggling, and And if you're struggling about your whatever cappuccino latte not being made properly, you don't deserve it. And if you're one of these people throwing food in the garbage because, hey, they put bacon instead of sausage on it, you don't deserve to eat. This is the world we live in. But anyway, I'm not going to get into a rant. This is very frustrating when you're tired, cold, and hungry, and in pain. And I always try to stay positive. And people who I engage with daily, like in person, some of them are like, I don't know how you do it. I'm not walking around like about to keel over and complaining and ranting about stuff. They always say I'm smiling and pleasant, and that's what you have to be. Sometimes I will vent, and sometimes I do have my moments when I'm by myself, but my core is positive, and that is what's important. That's what is key to survive. So perhaps take that as a lesson. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. When police officers are at fault, the innocent victim of them has to be not only charged but convicted of allegedly assaulting a police officer in obstruction. And this ties in with my story, with the 2 wrongful convictions that I have against me from Calgary, Alberta. Why is there a need to have the innocent person convicted? Because that is the defense for a lawsuit. Because if someone is convicted, for example, of assaulting a police officer in obstruction, then the individual, the victim to everything, caused their own injuries. To expand on this a little bit more, you can say that the officer was defending himself while he was on duty and had to do whatever it took to subdue the individual. Just remember, I was one man against many, fighting a losing battle, but I still fought to the end.
That means press on. That means endure. That means God cannot fail, and you're not going to give up. That's not an option for a child of God. This means you are going to be remembered. Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people say to me all the time, when is it going to get easier? When you die.